This is our Readers Theaters project. It takes place in Crooks' stable, and it's a conversation between Lenny and Crooks. It's on page 103 through 105. There are two major themes in our scene, the first being isolation and companionship. Many characters suffer from isolation and companionship. In our scene, it's represented through Crooks. In the story, everybody wants a companion, but isolation is the only way out.
The second theme that's represented by our scene is the predatory nature of human existence. So all throughout the novel, we understand that the characters are quite weak, but even at their weakest point, they still try to destroy those who are even weaker than them. And this is represented the best by Crooks in our scene. Just as he admits all his vulnerabilities, that he's lonely and that he's crippled, he recognizes that Lenny is weaker than him and tries to destroy him emotionally by telling him that George isn't coming back. And it's the perfect example of this theme. For the scene, I will be playing Crooks, Phil will be playing Lenny, and Casper will be playing the narrator.
His voice grew soft and persuasive.
Suppose George don't come back no more. Suppose he took a powder and just ain't come back. What'll you do then?
Lenny's attention came gradually to what had been said.
What?
He demanded.
I said, suppose George went to town tonight and you never heard of him no more.
Crooks pressed forward some kind of private victory.
Just suppose that.
He repeated.
He won't do it.
Lenny cried.
George wouldn't do nothing like that. I've been with George a long time. He'll come back tonight.
But the doubt was too much for him.
Do you think he will?
Crooks' face lightened with pleasure in his torture.
Nobody can tell what a guy'll do.
He observed calmly.
Let's say he wants to come back and can't. Suppose he gets killed or hurt, so he just can't come back.
Lenny struggled to understand.
George won't do nothing like that.
He repeated.
George is careful. He won't get hurt. He ain't never been hurt because he's careful.
Well, just suppose he won't come back. What'll you do then?
Lenny's eyes centered and grew quiet and mad. He stood up and walked dangerously towards Crooks.
Who hurt George?
He demanded. Crooks saw the danger as it approached him. He edged back on his bunk to get out of the way.
I was just supposing,
He said.
George ain't hurt. He's all right. He'll be back all right.
Lenny stood over him.
What you supposing for? Ain't nobody gonna suppose no hurt to George.
Crooks removed his glasses and wiped it with his fingers.
Just sit down.
He said.
George ain't hurt.
Then he growled back to his seat on the nail keg.
Ain't nobody gonna talk no hurt to George.
He grumbled. Crooks said gently.
Maybe you can see now. You got George. You know he's gonna come back. Suppose you didn't have nobody. Suppose you couldn't go into the bunkhouse and play rummy because he was black. How'd you like that? Suppose you had to sit out here and read books. Sure, you could play horseshoes till it got dark, but then you gotta read books. Books ain't no good. A guy needs somebody to be near him.
He whined.
A guy goes nuts if he ain't got nobody. Don't make no difference who the guy is, as long as he's with you. I tell you,
He cried.
a guy gets too lonely and he gets sick.
George gonna come back.
Lenny reassured himself in a frightened voice.
Maybe George come back already. Maybe I'll go see. And see.